My name is Benjamin Holkauer, affectionately known as Benyamin HaTzadik. That was the name my grandfather gave me. He obviously had a sense of humor because it's a name that I still have to grow into. My grandfather, I believe, came from Poland. He was the town of Mielec. So it was Mielec Sanza Chassid. I grew up in New York and Brooklyn. It was a very rich Jewish area. And rich, I don't mean rich necessarily money-wise, but I mean rich in terms of the Judaism, the number of rebbes, the number of shtiblach, the number of shuls. It was unbelievable. My family, I would classify as being Hasidish, but not black coat, black hat Hasidish. I went to yeshiva through high school, then went to Brooklyn College, secular college, and then thought I would be an accountant, but I realized that after a year of trying to take business courses that I would probably take people bankrupt. So I got out and ended up in psychology. And there was a point where I kind of left it behind. I had some reasons to be very angry with God. So we parted company for a while. No, I didn't say, for example, that he doesn't exist, because, you can't be angry at something that doesn't exist. So for a number of years, I departed, from all observance. I don't know. Friday night, although I might have engaged in some pleasurable activities, it just, my body was there, but my mind and my soul weren't. There was something missing. And eventually I came back stronger than when I left. I don't necessarily recommend this as a course of action with anyone, but that's my story. That was just part of it.
How many years did you live religion?
I think if I said 5 years, it would probably be a reasonable amount. Maybe it was more. When I had kids, and you send the kids to yeshiva, for a period of time I was very, very progressive. I even wanted to go to Hebrew Union College and become a Reform rabbi. Then you start sending the kids to yeshiva, and they come back and they say, "Hey, Papa, you know what we learned today?" And you can't quite say, "Oh, that's a bunch of nonsense." What are you sending the kids to yeshiva if they're going to come back with something and you're going to say, "That's ridiculous"? What's the point? You're going to raise somebody who's a complete skeptic. So at some point, the children lead and you follow. This was in California. I'd come out here to do a concert.
You're a musician?
I had a band for about 40 years. And the song, Siman Tov or Mazel Tov, it was on my first album. It was originally called the Mark III Orchestra. I played drums and sang.
So music and Judaism for you comes together?
To me, there is nothing like Hasidic music. I want to tell you that one of the things that I love to do before Shabbos, sometimes I like to fire up the hookah, and I turn on Hasidic music on the TV and just ease into it. One of the things that I love is the Satmar Rebbe doing a mitzvah dance. And I watch that and it gladdens my heart, because you see these thousands of Hasidim at this wedding, it's just, I love the song. In fact, I'll tell you something crazy. I have a bad back, and I get about 12 or 16 shots a month into my back. And sometimes they're quite deep. So I'm on the table, and as they're doing it, I'm singing the Gunim. I take myself out of this world, put it into the other world, so I don't have to think about the pain. I'm in another world with the Hasidic music. There's nothing like it for me.
So your children and grandchildren went in a Jewish religious way of living?
Yeah, thank God, all of them. My first 3 kids, the first 3 started out at a Reform day school and participated occasionally in Friday night services and so forth. And the oldest one, the one who went there first, she lives in Israel, in Beitar Illit. has Kanina 10 children. If you would have told me 20 years ago that I would have a grandson who wears a spodek and a beard, I would have said, you know, I don't know what drugs you're on, but it's not a happening event. My son is a rabbi. He was also in the Reform Day School. Now he's a rabbi in a yeshiva. But they're all dati to one extent or another.
You still work in psychology today?
Oh yeah. You know, I work in the prison system. The people you read about in the newspapers are the people I work with. My job is to either help them get through their terms with the least stress possible. If you can touch somebody's neshama so when they get out, they have a different perspective on life, then it's great. How many people I've been able to touch, I don't know. I have to treat everybody like they are my mission in life.
Do you feel that being Jewish helps you with that job?
Absolutely. Being Jewish and being Orthodox and being steeped in the meaning of life and being and the orientation. How do I touch this person's soul? How do I get in there? And for that, the Judaism is incredible.
When do you feel Jewish?
I don't mean to sound holier than anybody else, but every second of the day. There's no way that I'm not Jewish. Because the Jewish education in a lot of places, the schools are dedicated to getting the kids to do. Because the fact that they are Jewish and they have a neshama and they have a soul and that soul is welcome. During the civil rights movement, I had the opportunity and I felt that as a Jew, my people suffered. Back then, there was no doubt. I mean, just like in Germany, Jews couldn't go to this place, they couldn't go to that place, they couldn't. Down south at that time, you couldn't drink. A black person couldn't drink from a white person's water fountain cup. Okay, and I couldn't. I said I have the opportunity to go down and do something. So I went down, but they knew I was Jewish back then too. I didn't hide anything. There's no doubt. I mean, I get up in the morning, nobody has any question about whether I'm Jewish or not. What is a good Jew? A good Jew is a Jew who thinks that tomorrow he can be a better Jew. Am I okay with who I am? I'm okay, but I know I have places and goals to reach. One of my prayers is, I say, God, guide me onto the right path and give me the courage to follow it. Give me the wisdom to see the light and the courage to follow it. Because sometimes you have to take steps, you know, like they say in Chabad, you just got you got to go. You just got to take the step, which is basically where I'm at now with the Aliyah.
So you're thinking of moving to Israel?
I just got this morning the email with the forms to fill out. So I'm going to fill them out, get the show on the road. It's time to move. That's my next move.